Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to our two teams, two greatest teams of the final round of our debates tournament. So let's start from the first speaker of the proposition team. Let's invite.
So I will start. Hello everyone, my name is Nisha and I'm the first and reply speaker. The second speaker is Alexandra, the third speaker is Alexander. Today we are playing on the motion this house regrets the rise of popularity of the online education format. As a proposition team, we absolutely agree with this motion. In my speech, I will give our definition, our value, our actuality, and our first argument. Now let's start with the definition. What is it online education? Online education is the education in which students and teachers don't interact live. They just use online services. And our value. Our value are about live communication and quality of education. Nowadays, this topic is relevant because during the coronavirus, with this pandemic, people did not have the opportunity to study full time, and because of this, they use online schools. So, our first argument sounds like online schools has got worth quality of education. Firstly, the students will have to discipline themselves. At school, the teacher just control you. They said that you must study because of your future, but students at least become some knowledge. But unlike the school students at home, no one controls. Their parents working and students at home alone. Here, the students can skip classes or just not connect to the lesson, or turn off the microphone and just playing on the computer, or don't listen to the lesson. So the student saves up, and at least the student saves up the all homework, does not do it until the end, and then sits all night and do all the last during the night. This is bad for his health, and material does not absorb well. Secondly, this online education leads to scam. Students just copy and no one sees you. Just they does not shoot you with it. So the student does not get any knowledge, and this is bad for the future of the student. Thirdly, online education is not always convenient for children. 36% of young people admitted that it is difficult for them to organize their work, and 33% of people just said that it's not. They don't have any laboratories and just nagadna.
As an example?
As an example, for example, reactions in chemistry or physics. They don't see it and don't understand how it works. So, the fourthly, online education, absence of motivation. To study online, you must be motivated. Online schools have deadlines for which students must complete the task. If the student is not motivated, then they don't do this. And as I say, they only do this task during the night, and it's bad for their health. And because of this, they suffer and it приводит. Leads to мне неподвижно, less подвижность.
Less activity.
Less activity. Because they are sitting on behind on the seat and just they play computer games or listen to the lessons, and it's bad for their health. So the system increases the education, mobility, and health of the students. So we regret that that's the rise of popularity of the online education format. So that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Let's invite the first speaker of the opposition team.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges, my dear opponents, and my lovely teammates. I'm the first speaker of opposition team. My name is Anne. Today we are putting on the motion this House regrets the rise of popularity of the online education format, and we totally disagree with this motion. I want to add a definition of our opponents, and I will tell you our definition. By telling online education, we mean a form of mastering any of the types of educational programs, lower or higher education, or any additional courses that are obtained on the internet. We cannot deny the growth of influence on internet on our lives these days, including the rise of popularity of online education, especially after forced measures in pandemic situation. So online education gathered more popularity nowadays. Now, I'd like to start with the refutation of our opponents. In their first argument, we told about they told that online education requires self-discipline, and people cannot do it well. But and people may miss some lessons, skip lessons, and be irresponsible while studying online. But let's see, if we talk about school online or university online lessons, it is obligatory. You have to study, and if you don't, you have bad marks. No one wants to have bad marks, so you have to make yourself to do something, and your self-discipline will appear during the process. If we talk not about school, about some additional courses, you pay money for these additional courses, and you don't want to lose your money just for nothing, so you still make yourself to work to do something, and all these qualities like time management, self-discipline will appear during your study. Yes.
If we are talking discipline, you said that you need marks. No one wants to get that marks, and they must to do something. But in online education, it's much easier to cheat. To just Google some answers, and then you have doing nothing and giving good marks.
Okay, you mentioned, but it doesn't disadvantage of online format. Like in life, you still can cheat, and it's more like yourself desires to study, and yourself responsibility, and it doesn't. You still make cheats in school so easily as in online form of education. So now I'd like to continue with our line of argumentation. Before it, I want to say that we value people's time and resources, and as well as their desire for a better future and greater opportunities. Now, our case, our first argument is more opportunities to study, and our second argument is everyone is individual. So I will explain our first argument. Education, online format of education has many advantages, and one of the benefits that people get from it is emergence of more opportunities to study. For example, online education helps you to reduce your time. For example, you don't need to waste your time on getting to somewhere, and it is much more convenient to study online because you may do at one day more courses, more lessons, and it would be much more difficult to do it in real life because you need to go somewhere, you need to waste your time on the road. So online education helps you to use your time more rationally on more rational things and study more efficiently. Also, online education allows us to choose whatever we want to study because there are many courses, many teachers, many online schools, online platforms where we can get knowledge, when we can buy courses and study what we want, because there is such problem in cities, for example, that if a person wants to study something but he can't do it because of lack of programs in his city, and the online formats of education is the best way for him it's the only way for him to get this knowledge. So it's also the way, one more opportunity to study, so which gives online education. So we should not regret about the rise of popularity of this format because it gives a lot of benefits for the person. If we talk about online education, a person still can choose any teacher he likes. It's a problem when at school he had teacher which he doesn't like, and it influences directly on his study because he loses the desire to study. And when we study online, we may choose any person we want. We can try different teachers, and it will increase our desire to study, increase our make our attitude to some subjects more positive. And it's a lot of benefits that online education gives to the person, and the rise of popularity of this format of education just gives us that more people find out about this way of studying, and more people get benefits from this. So we should not regret about rising of popularity. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's invite the second speaker of the proposition team.
Hello everyone, dear judges, our opponents, audience, and my teammates. My name is Alexandra. I'm the second speaker of opposition team. And in my speech, I'm gonna tell you about our second argument about refutation, and rebuild our first argument. And I want to start with refutation. Our opponents said that school must be very convenient. Yes, we agree with it. But the main goal of the school is to learn, not convenience. It is much more important for us to gain knowledge. And after this point, we agreed that knowledge is better. However, this use of school, it does not provide knowledge. Our second argument sounds like in online education format, students have less live communication. I think everyone is agree with me that communication is a very important part of our puberty. Our personality and qualities for the future start formed in our childhood, and only socialization helps us with this purpose. statistics which we use in our argument was we took from the side Ministers of Health of Russian Federation. The main disadvantage of distance learning is the lack of communication. 70.2% of students said that they don't have enough face-to-face communication with fellow students and teachers. In school years, actually, in elementary school, students' realization begins to develop. With the help of other people, we get to know the world and learn how work in a team. We learn a world, an environment near us, and try to understand the world. However, online learning despises us of these privileges. In the future, problems with a lack of communication in childhood may result in people who are incapable of adulthood, who cannot build relationships with people. Therefore, the majority of people will lonely the whole life because they can abilities to make friends. Communication builds our personality and qualities, as I said, and it isn't enough. Then a person becomes close. It is a result. Then a person becomes close and he isn't able to adapt to adulthood. Now I want example. Imagine that your students and your lessons over in 3 p.m. Sorry. After that, you have lots of spare time, and this spare time you use for unnecessary things. Yes. Like sit in front of the screen and watch very unuseful videos on YouTube, maybe, yes. This student don't have friends because he online education, and he can't obtain his
Necessities.
Necessities in communication. So I want to reveal our first argument, which sounds like online school has the poor quality of education. And the opponent said that everyone will study because no one wants bad grades. But estimates are easy to get by cheating. They said that online schools you can also cheat. It's true, but it's much easier to do it online. Well, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Let's invite the second speaker of the opposition team.
So hello everyone, I'm glad to see you so much in this panel. And my name is Irina, I'm the second speaker of my lovely opposition team. So I want to start my speech with the reputation of our opponents. So their second argument was about communication in schools, that in schools you communicate more with each other, and so on. But no one cancel online education in the group, and it's very often when students work in a group, and in the groups they make communication too. For addition, online education take less time, and because of that, you have more time to communicate not only in school, not only talking about homework or tests or others. You have the time to communicate with your friends, with you have time to talk about things which you're interested, which you're really interested in. So I wanna also make a refutation for your first argument, in addition to our first speech. So you talk about online schools has got worse quality of education. You also said about practice, but there are a lot of materials like presentations, videos, and the huge plus of videos that you can stop it. You can stop it with pause, think about it, and play again. You can rewatch it to understand this material better, and also the presentations, the online format, online interactive things on online education is much more better and much more наглядный, practicing on example than in ordinary education. No, I'm saying. So you also said about motivation, but come on, guys, you don't think that often all of the online education is platinum?
Paid.
It's paid, and your motivation is money at first, and at the second, your motivation is your self-consciousness, because in online education, if you choose online education, it means that you choose, you're searching the internet, a lot of online education resources, and you know, wow, that's so cool resources. I will study them, and I will be motivated, and my education will be cool.
You're talking about paid schools, and if you pay money, you have motivation to study. But actually, your parents firstly pay money for your study, and children are lazy. They don't want to study. They think, oh, they paid for me, I can do whatever I want.
Why are you talking only about childhood education? Okay. We're talking friendly remain. We're not talking about only school. We're talking about, for example, advanced training courses, extracurricular, maybe some activities, and in education, adults have a part too, and it's also have influence on them. So, how about the children? I think if parents pay a lot of money for the education, maybe sometimes they will do boom, and children go to the education. It will be studied a lot. So I wanna make also a rebuilding of our argument. You say about less quality of education on our first argument, but if you live in the middle of nowhere, you have nothing in your region maybe, and you want to study the medicine, and only one medicine courses in your region is an old woman who thinks, oh, natural medicine. What are you doing? It's much better to search in the internet some online resources, online courses, and study for them. It will be more quality, you know. So,
Please.
no, thank you. You can do it. So, I want to continue our line of argumentation, and our second argument is about everyone is individual. So, because of raising popularity of online formal education, students have more freedom of choice, because they think, wow, my life doesn't end on inbuilt social number 11. There are a lot of interesting resources. There are a lot of alternative kinds of education, there are a lot of approaches for education, and now I can choose, wow, every of them, every kind of education have pluses and minuses. And when children chooses certain kind of education, they are ready for the minuses and pluses. They are ready to they're ready for them. Okay. And for example, we have an introverted person who can get a trauma because of less communication in ordinary school, or choosing light side professional preparing for medicine and focus it only on it. We don't forget about we don't forget about extracurricular activities, some programs, right. We have a statistics that level of stress from education was decreased during last years, and that's why that's because of rising popularity online formats. People, children, adults can choose. So I think that's all I want to say. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Let's invite the third speaker of the proposition team. Alexander.
Good afternoon, everyone, our honorable judges, our timekeepers, our dear audience, our dear opponents, and of course my teammates. Today we are debating on the motion, this House regrets the rise of popularity of the online educational format, and as the proposition team, we totally agree with this motion. In my speech, I will refute our opponents and rebuttal our arguments, and also I will refute what I wanted to say in my points. So, refutation. Opponents' first argument sounds like more opportunities to study. There, they were talking about convenience. If you are living in a very small city, it's much easier to search on the internet than go 2 hours to school. And convenience is good, but this convenience is not more important than actually knowledge. Schools are made to get knowledge, thank you. To get knowledge, this is the main goal of the school. If you're going to school for convenience, you are lazy.
Yes.
Yes.
We aren't only talking about schools, and you also get education, but it's a nice addition that is convenient.
Yes, it's a nice addition that is convenient, but again, in this nice addition, you can very nicely cheat. You can do whatever you want. Like our second speaker said, you can just mute your microphone and go away, and you don't care about your school. So you are not getting knowledge, but it's very convenient. So also, opponents said they refuted. Oh, I will say it in rebuttal. Sorry. Second argument: everyone is individual. Children can choose every school and online. They can just search in the website, and there's thousands of schools. But firstly, most of these schools are paid, because this is not the government-run schools. It's the private schools, and they want money for you. But in our school, okay.
But if students, adults need to pay for this, okay, this is minus, for example. But if people know about a lot of formats of education, they will be ready to these minuses, and they will be ready to pay. Thank you.
Interesting. I'm sorry, I'll answer your point later. Okay, let's continue. When I start. Children are lazy. Children don't want to study, they want to play games, they want to rest. But opponents said that we're not talking only about children. We are talking about others, about adults. They also have opportunity to study online. But as the children voice, they said, maybe if a parent give them, they will study. But again, I think they forgot about parents that they are at work. You are a child, you are at home alone, and you have the full house of freedom. You can eat sweets, you can do whatever you want, not to study, because you're a child, you don't want to do this. Parents are at their work, and they are not take care of you. In schools, the role of parents plays a teacher. He can see you, he can see you. What is this? Is this a phone? Please get it away. Study, please. But if you are sitting on the phone online, no one can замечание. Notice. No one can notice you because of this, because you are sitting in front of the screen. So, rebutting. First argument. Online school has got worse quality of education. Our first speaker explained how it works. You are cheating, you don't want to work, to study, and that's why your knowledges, there's no knowledges. So that's why you have no education or worse quality. Discipline, cheating, and also one very important point. Online education is very bad for your health. Bad for your eyes when you're seeing a whole day in front of the screen, and you're sitting all the day, and it's also very bad for your health. So this also point goes to our side. Second argument, in online educational format, students have less time to live communication. Our value is live communication. Live communication is very important. At school, at child age, you're learning how to talk with each other, how to communicate. And when you are studying online, you just lose this point. And there will be more introverts who are closed and who cannot talk. They can only chat in internet, in online format. Is it good? No, it's bad. That's the point. I'll just read it. Of course, we can pay for all the cons. We only pay the amenities, convenience. But we still remain of option that we can get the same free education without any disadvantages and paying nothing. 6 minutes. So, I stopped at live communication. Live communication is very important, and online educational format, we lose this point. But in our natural format of education, yes, you can communicate at breaks. You can talk with your friends, not in computer, but in real life. You can see their emotions, which is very, very important. And then online education, you lose it, and that's why we regret the rise of popularity in this educational format. Also, I have 1 minute. I think that clap will be the end of my speech. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Let's invite the third speaker of the opposition team.
Greetings, dear audience, respected judge, my dear opponents and lovely teammates. My name is Vlada, I'm the third speaker of opposition team, and I would like to start my speech with a refutation of our opponents and then give you a reveal of our own arguments. So their first argument was about online school having a lower quality of education. They've escalated it with three main points, which are cheating that is easier in an online format, not being able to do some practical exercises like chemistry, and also hard to control yourself and manage your time. Well, they basically did to compare pluses and minuses of online education and offline education, which isn't what we are talking about. We are talking about why we should regret it. And I don't see why we should regret people having to time manage their own schedule. It's a great soft skill that they need to develop, both kids and adults. It's really important in our everyday life. And sure, it will be hard at the beginning, but then they will slowly get used to it. Also, about the cheating. Sure, it's easier to do in an online format, but if a student doesn't care what they're doing in school or courses or whatever they're doing, if they want to cheat, they'll try to cheat. It's not like if I'll stop studying offline, I'll suddenly become a lazy, irresponsible person who doesn't care for her exams in future, getting into university and stuff like that. No, I'll still study because I need to study. And if I don't care about studying, then I don't, in both formats. It doesn't work. Sure.
We already said that if you don't care, you're talking about this, but we said that in school, teacher can motivate you. He can just go here, but in online format, we lose it.
First of all, online format also has teachers and tutors and parents and groups that you are working with. That might also be a competition, a motivation, and a role model that will tell you that maybe it's better to work than pretend that you don't exist. Also, the point was about not having opportunity to see some kind of physical exercises like for chemistry. First of all, sure, it's a minus, but if we're talking about schools, a lot of them don't have the right equipment to do those things anyway, and they just skip this thing like, well, you can read the paragraph, it's really interesting, I'm sure you'll like it, but you can just see the videos online or something like that. And we aren't talking about some kind of full replacement of our system to fully go online. Of course, if we are some kind of medical students that need to go to anatomical theater, we won't see a teacher with camera being like, hey, fellow doctors, today I'll show you these two nice corpses, and we will try to prepare them. No, it's not going to happen because we are not fully replacing something. We are just adding and using what we have in advantages. About health. Again, since we are not fully replacing the format, and we don't talk about some kind of quarantine school when you can't go outside, we still sit for 45 minutes in school, we will sit for some hours during the lectures in online format, and then you are free to go to gym or just have a walk with your friends, with your dog, do some kind of stretching and exercises. No one stops you from doing that, just like no one stops you from doing that in an offline format. And you still have a lot of your free time to be active. Second argument was about online education, having a lack of opportunities to talk and stuff like that. First of all, online education doesn't anyhow forbid you from seeing your friends, talking to relatives, going outside, visiting some theaters or social activities, participating in contests, giving presentations, trying to provide any kind of information for other students and talk with each other about different stuff, about studying in general too. It's still more than possible, and it doesn't anyhow become less doable if you study online or just add online education to your life. Moreover, you get new friends and colleagues that you might talk to if you have questions. Now about rebuilding our own argument. Also, I'd like to add a little bit of statistics for the information about time management being really hard and all that stuff. According to Russian Forbes Education article, adults admit that it's easier and they finish the task by 25–50% faster when they study online because it's more flexible schedule and they can control the themes they're trying to learn. And for the second argument, for the rebuild of our first argument, where our opponent said that education lacks some qualities and is less beneficial, I'd like to say that, first of all, we are less stressful during online education. It's proved by German scientists from Ruski University. They've made a certain degree where they were testing students' blood and
Spina.
throughout some weeks. And by the end of the day, their research showed that cortisol results has decreased, and it shows the lack of stress. And if we are less stressed, then we are more open to new opportunities and people, and we are more free and nice about studying in general, because we feel more comfortable, and therefore we can afford ourselves to search for some more information, for example, to search for people who are as interested in the topic as we are. And in general, it increases the standards for the education, and it increases the quality and rank of the results, which is definitely great, sure.
Your statistic, you're talking about stress, and when you're less stressful, it's very good for you. But statistics is not only argument how it works. So we don't get the point how we can.
I'm not using it as an only argument. I'm just adding it because it's beneficial that people are less stressed during an online format, and there is nothing to regret about it, which we are trying to point out throughout the time game. So yeah, about your first argument. Yeah, reveal the power of first argument. Give me a second. Second argument being about, no, in our second argument we talked about how people can explore more that isn't available in their home cities or something like that, and how if students can't do it, then their teachers will stimulate it. Our opponent said that if parents pay for your education, you don't care about it. Kids are lazy, they aren't going to do a thing. Why do you don't believe in yourselves and people who are like you? We aren't that lazy. And first of all, if you're a nice parent with a child who has normal or at least standard, basic, healthy relationship, you will probably at least your parents work and understand that they just don't get money from skies, they earn it. And if they bought you something, then I highly doubt they did it just because it's a funny investment. They discussed it with you, I guess. Maybe it's something you're interested in, and therefore you will probably be interested in studying as well. And it's just if we talk about online courses. If we're talking about adding some elements of online education to schools or universities, in universities you are literally getting a profession that you will work for your entire life, or maybe part of your life, or just try out. And I don't think that if you're going to be, I don't know, a teacher, you will skip some lections on becoming a teacher. And if you're just in school, you still need to pass exams and get good grades, and so you have to, in the lections, 15 seconds please, you have to still pay attention and do all the tasks attached, so therefore we don't regret the rising popularity of an online format, for it allows us more opportunities. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much. So now let's invite the reply speaker of the opposition team.
So, hello everyone again. I'm saying that I'm glad to see you, and it's true. Thank you for such an amazing game. It was really exciting. So, I want to start my speech with Flashpoint. I think it was one Flashpoint on our game, and it was about cheating. So, in your first argument, you said about cheating, about students, about more abilities to cheat in online education. And our first speaker said that if you want to speak, if you want to cheat, you will teach in any format of education, and you have ability to cheat everywhere. So our third speaker proved, and I think that's the flashpoint to go to overstate. So now I wanna say about two things that I noticed on the game. There are two things which weaken our opponent's case. So, at first, they talk only about schools, about ordinary schools, which when educated only child. But we said there's not a restriction in this definition, and we talk about more education format. And our case is cool in more and more education format. So the second thing, what I noticed, it was about our opponents talk not about regrets. Our opponents talk about pluses and minuses of online education. So, like our third speaker said, I don't see anything why we should regret. So, it's just the not format of the thing. I have 4 minutes. Yes. Okay, thank you. Now I want to continue my speech with the word comparison. In our world, we have more and more opportunities. We have more and more forms of education. We have more freedom. We have freedom of choice for everyone who wants to educate, want to get maybe some addiction, education. So, in our world, we learned time management. We learn how to do it. We have more responsibilities. And in our world, we use advantages of online education format, and don't just replace one thing with another. So in their world, children, adults are not so responsible. They are not so self-consciousness. They are not so interested in the education. In their world, kids get stressed before the school. In their world, kids are lazy. Maybe in this world, child just can't show their full potential, and that's why the world is not that full like our. So thank you for your attention.
Now let's invite the reply speaker of the proposition team.
So, honorable judge, our audience, our opponents, thank you for this game. It was very interesting, and I want to make some conclusions. During the game, we have 2 biggest flashpoints. First is about convenience, and the second is about cheating. About convenience, our opponent said that online education is more convenient than school education. But as we said, that the main idea of the schools is giving us education and communication with each other. They said that school must be convenient, but as we said that it's if schools is convenient, then they don't get all information that they want. So our second flashpoint is about cheating. Our opponent said that students can cheating at schools, but they don't risk take risk because cheating in front of the teacher, and they can get punishment of. But if student cheating on the online education, no one can see him, and they just open the telephone, just on the Google. What is it? For example, plants. Google gives us the answer, and we just write it. So I want to compare two words. Our world assumes that learning takes place in an environment where the student has friends. He has the ability to communicate. This will help him a lot in the future. Moreover, online schools provide training worth than in regular ones. The word of our opponents is the world where people don't receive adequate communication and their students don't develop their future, their qualities in homework, which will negatively affect in their future. So our world offers great opportunities for their future. And our value is not yet to constant with convenience, as our opposition team says. Our main value is getting knowledge, life communication, and quality of education. So, that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Please stand up! SIS! Everyone! PPI! 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 PPI!
Okay, Twin Peaks!
Да, сейчас дам. Нет, вы не обсуждаете.
Да, и голосуйте сначала, каждый стоит.